you.
And then Alpha promptly moved over. And Gorilla, that is the kind of confidence you need to have in a game that's this high stakes.
Yeah, I mean, it just reminds me of when like my friends have asked me for tickets, and same with my assistant coach Leica has asked for tickets, and then we see them in the other team. It's like, you traitor, man.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
Why are
like,
you doing that?
I can't be dealing you tickets if you're not coming to support me.
It's the fact that he's sat on that stage, just lost map 1.
Yeah.
He has a million things he needs to focus on, but it's Alpha here that he wants to point at.
He's very cold-blooded. Like he keeps calm under very high-pressure situations. And I think that this map, even though it was very quick and brief, like Mitch would say, it was a great display of his abilities. Every single time that we see him playing on the Tejo, he has the kind of impact that many players struggle to find. Having the confidence from swapping for the abilities, and not only having a brilliant individual performance, he's always on top of everything. He doesn't save that much of utility, and he sometimes have the bold movement of just keep pushing with the judge. Go for it.
Yeah, I think an issue that a lot of Teo players like struggle with is overusing the utility. At every point, as soon as you get a kill, you're instantly pulling the rockets out, or trying to stun, or trying to drone. And the thing that I like about Sociable is half the time he's not even... See, he's got full util here already. Like, they've taken ramp, and he's just facing, right? So it's the thing where it's like, he just doesn't need to use his util. He's just so reliant on his aim, and so consistent when he's doing it.
I love that word, consistency, because I think it's really difficult to be consistent in this game, but he's really, really up there with every department, you know, the mechanics, the aim, the util usage, as you mentioned already. But it almost felt like too easy. FUT didn't really even get into the game. And is this at all just because of the veto questions that we've had this entire playoffs?
I mean, yes, let's bring the conversation back. Okay, I will mold. So you go up against Fnatic and you ban Icebox, a map that they do not play. Do you really think that BBL are going to pick Icebox? Like, coming into today, knowing the stakes of today, they're going to play to their strengths. Do not get me wrong. The chances of them picking the Haven, if it were not to ban it, were very high, and that was a win for them. They had something prepared. We see the cracks going on the Neon in a different plan that throws BBL on a map that they've been extremely successful on, completely off the charts. Going on display, you pick the split, another map that has been good for BBL. You pick the split, and this is where I expected to see something different. Some maybe double duelists with cracks, another change of composition that we didn't see. So I guess we have to wait and see how many rounds we see this time around in Ascent.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is like FUT had a good showing against Vitality on split. Maybe let's lean into that, because maybe that's our map. I think it comes down to honestly
he better be sitting on the side of BBL right now. By the way. Sorry, Gorilla, carry on. What's Mini doing? Mini thinks he's on the team. Mini's just like, oh, you know, get me back. Whoa.
Wow. In front of Milan.
It's because Mini has been told so many times that the vibes got better after he left. So he feels like he's got to prove himself, right? Sorry, Gorilla, I derailed you there. But let's take a look at Agent Select and tell me, what do you think about this, Harry? And which one do you prefer?
Honestly, like, so when I think of Zeus, I think of Yoru, and so it's, you know, it's not necessarily the CNED playing the Jet, it's the Zeus playing the Yoru, so I think both comps make sense. I would like to see BBL kind of exploit their kind of triple initiator a lot, not using all their wave utility at once, and maybe keeping a bit to maybe catch FUT off guard, because they're going to be using their knife and their recon 140, 1 minute and 30 seconds. So that's what I'd like to see BBL do a bit more than what they did the other day against Heretics.
And coming into today, they had the higher seed. They decided to be that team A, so they get the first ban, and also they get to decide the side on the last map. Also, with the chances of it being Ascent, they get to start on the defense. But of course, elephant in the room, the triple initiator, and as Harry was saying, a little bit more of layering. You have so much to work with. You need to be very smart in when to use it, especially now that Zeus has moved from that Jet onto this Euro.
Well, last time Mitch and Tom brought us 48 glorious rounds of Ascent. I think we can aim higher than that. Let's go for 50 today, boys.
I genuinely just said the same thing backstage.
The thing is,
rounds.
everything Sue has said over the last couple of days has happened.
It has, hasn't it? She called the OT. We got there. She did it yesterday. We got there. Tom, we're going 50 rounds. Lock in, buckle in, and buckle up. The Turkish derby, it has to end on the 82nd province. We're going to Ascent, formerly a staple for the region. Other people have caught up, but now it's time to fight for that crown. BBL looking to not just beat FUT in this head-to-head for the first time, as it was when they faced earlier on this stage, but doing it twice in 1 year. Not even FUT have managed that.
Interesting. BBL have the lowest retake win rate of all EMEA playoff teams.
They have more rounds played on this map, I reckon, than any other team in one series. So I'll cut them some slack there. It was an attack-sided affair when we got to overtime. We'll see if it's the same thing as we run it back again. Zeus swapping up.
Regulation, it was only 7-5, so it really could be the smallest of rounds that makes the difference. That's not the start they were looking for. Luckily, Profek is still here to do the damage. Levin has managed to find one with the distraction, and Yumpy trying to flash back into position. The fact is, though, they are still looking to go in this same direction. But it seems like the play here from BBL is just play the retake. Whoa, Zeus has been caught while trying to cross.
The retake gets that little bit easier now, doubling up on the advantages.
Spike planted.
Cleared out Heaven already with the Prowler, and this is going to be their signal to group up. 4 players coming in together. Utility, not quite gone because you've still got those salvos. Those pesky salvos are causing problems. Yedeje, not able to tuck in anymore. He's out in the open, isolated, and beautifully played by BBL. They tip the dominoes and watch them fall 1-0 for the defensive side.
Yeah, I think one of the major highlights for me going into this match, and more the matchup, is the swap up for Zeus. It is the only change in composition, but I can only assume that is more of a comfort thing than anything else. Like, the guy really struggled in the Jet v Jet battle, so he's now going to try and change that play up. It was mentioned by our wonderful analyst, Alpha, that he thinks that Zeus, or not Zeus, Yoru is currently the greatest entry in the game at the moment, and it's going to be so important when it comes down to this map in particular. Getting through some of those choke points, A main, B main especially, is so tough if your entry is not having a good game.
That's a lot of information to work with. Deep nade going to be sent through. That's a lot of damage, and indeed it will be a couple picks. Although Zeus manages to fire back, Cracks and himself are desperately low.
Those Profek.
Yeah, Profek has taken a few licks of damage, and he's the only man here. He's got some support in the side, and he's not afraid to fight. This could still be relatively costly. If they lose another player, Mr. Fallen looks for a bit more, but won't find it.
Yeah, they still keep the majority of the heavy weapons at least. But this is something that BBL do quite often. It's like not the biggest of investments, but they still buy. Like, it's not like they're just going for a pistol. Like, they consistently buy up SMGs. And I don't think we've seen a massive amount of success when it comes to third rounds. Maybe just making sure that this can't quite escape from them in the conversions. But this is where FUT come in with a mammoth advantage. Full shields on every single player, rifles as well. And Levin Sniper, not going to be an insta-kill.
This is FUT's chance to correct early on, get themselves on that board. Enemy mark. They've done it so far. Times very convincingly. Slow approach to start this one out. BBL, look at the control that they've got towards the A site. They're allowing the walk up. They've got a little high-low setup in play. Profek and Levin. And although Levin will be facing off against full shields, if Profek just lands one shot from the Bulldog, that A site will be well and truly defended. The push is coming in the other direction. It seems clear to us that it will be a B split. They've left players outside A, left players watching mid. They still have the chance to go back. Now less so.
Sociable. Definitely the highlight of the previous map. Their domination came through off some of his individual brilliance. Well, he's going to be under some serious pressure here, trying to just get up in their face and nothing found for it. And while an attempted push through from Yumpy is met with exactly the same fate, in fact, even a fadeaway shot for Cracks to add another to the death toll. I think we saw this in the last map. A flawless potentially on the cards, although there has been a timing for Profek. There's so many players still within this site. I'll be surprised if he's not expected.
I mean, there's something as well that we've seen from Profek. Going back to the previous map, he had a lot of patience in looking for those flank players. You can see he is very much expecting that to be the case. Yet again, that someone's trying to sneakily come up behind him. The recon gives away the game, though, and it's Yedeje jumping the gun, getting ahead of it. An in-zone flawless in round 3. I said they've managed to win these third rounds after losing the pistol quite a lot. They've done so quite cleanly at times. This one, I felt like every fight that they took was on their own terms.
Yeah, very, very comfortable stuff. And I think at times a little bit slow of a reaction from BBL. And around where you have this many weaknesses, I'd like to see them just gamble a little bit more. But for now, this is where the proper purchase comes into play. Ultimate's not particularly close, but one away will be Mr. Farland. I felt like this has always been a map where his Sova is incredibly difficult to play against. Just a comfort individually, which if your IGL is comfortable, that's always a good sign. Yumpy has to be careful, almost losing his life, and well, Magnum's position is very much known. Hasn't been cleared just yet, though.
He will be. That nade still sends him out into the open. No way to fall back cleanly in the cloudburst, just a little late in landing. So he will be traded out at the very least. Yumpy threw this nade through. He gets aggressive. Wants to push his way up. And after not finding that initial fight, more passive approach. That mid position held down by Sociable. A site being watched by Profek. He's under a little bit of pressure. If they were to walk up short, there could be a gap. The Sociable peeks it here and there, and with Yedajay down, FUT are sending it in his direction. It's Profek with the pressure on his back.
The rotation again not coming. He's now finally made the spot, but this now becomes more of a survival effort. Maybe in the hope that somebody will be able to get there in time. Just created a little pocket of space for himself. This angle is just in case anybody crushes to the side of the site, and that's exactly what it's done. Clever stuff, and Profek still surviving in the backlines. He's lasted such a long time. And that means that spike is still yet to go down. 10 seconds as the rest of the players will now start to move their way forward. Nice shot from Mr. Farland, gets rid of Sociable, but Levin's there as well, and he has to try and stick this plant. Profek, for me, ends up being the hero of that round, as BBL again are off to a strong start.
I agree with you 100%, Tom. Profek buys so much time sitting down in the back of the site, picking off the first as they come through and making them push his smoke. It's only when it fades that he's really in danger. You can see already trading blows. It's coming down to a narrow margin, and the fact that one player almost has to stick that spike allows those 1v1s. The switch up, dude. That's like two personalities. Nice, good job.
I love Magnum. I genuinely think I could just sit and listen to his comms all day and I'd have a great time. The fact he admitted in the last match I'm giving fake comms is hilarious. Beautiful flash. And a captain now being pressured. A second flash through, and well, Zana captain to win the battle versus the young duelist there again. After getting an opener, going to immediately react off the back of this. Now there's two players within the site.
Nice flash by Zeus. Profek, though, still going. This smoke, we saw a similar one in the previous round, and it's bought them an advantage, or at least, rather, it's pulled it back into equal footing. The problem is, the advantage goes to FUT, as the B site now wide open. They've stepped in already. Yedajay's closed that door, and Mr. Fallen has a free route down onto site. An open plant as well. They could play Boathouse, move back towards main, where they've actually embedded out a captain. A lot to work with.
Against the Teo, it's much more difficult to play that backside, play off those crossfires, because it can be so easily cleared by all of that utility information. Attempted to be found by Profek, but they still have to clear that backline. The dart does well, but more importantly, it gives the space to Ada Captain. Yedajay there as well, and now all that stands is Magnum. Nothing to be had. It is FUT with, again, a quick response in the call and finding that gap in the form of their Sentinel. And they're right back within distance again. I'm seeing that back and forth, Mitch, already.
It's deja vu, man. Deja vu's kicking in. This is exactly the kind of vibe we had starting out the previous time that these two faced, the 25-23 game. I say game, it was just a map. But there's series that looked like that. You're high-fiving him whether you like it or not. And you better like it. FUT, one round behind. And look at BBL's buy. This should be the round where they equalize. Profek, player with the biggest gun for BBL. He's been spotted They won't be
Take flight.
surprised by him there, but he has rotated around the spawn as Magnum just takes a heads-up duel.
But there was a lot of util thrown in there. The
Salvos
salvos, and I think there was also maybe an extra little
cross.
piece before, but yeah, that cross being held. Cracks, no, it's not Cracks to go down. In fact, it's Yedajay to fall. They've also left Levin at the back of the site. Zeus is trying his best to maybe create some sort of distraction on the other side, but he's now going to be tagged up as well. A lot of players ending up low.
There are problems being created, but the thing is, look at FUT. They need an individual to step up. Everybody's isolated. The idea to move towards the B side, it's the best one. Zeus will be able to fall back. He has ult for the reposition, for the clearance of site, but they'll go in ahead of the clock. 40 seconds. Have some time to play with. Maybe hoping the backside is clear. Now they know it isn't. It's only a Sheriff standing in their way, though. No shields even on Levin. He's in a lot of danger in this battle. The numbers thinning out. Yumpy goes down. 1 kill here for Levin. Would be wonderful, but hard to land up against the rifle of Mr. Fallen. BBL. They have recovered a rifle for Sociable. They've got salvos online, but the advantage, again, goes to FUT. And the post plant on B will be tough to break back into. Maybe those salvos can force the players in the open. That's best we can hope for, but you got to get past Zeus first.
Yeah, he also has dimensional drift, so if things get dangerous at any point, he can look to regroup, but it isn't going to be the case. Looking comfortable once again, and even going to use it just to clear Sociable. You know this guy has been a real danger, just almost trying to ignore his opponent, who has every single piece of information. Sociable's goal now is just to try and clear them as they fall out of the site, and it's only going to be the one. Good recovery from FUT. The initial deficit now depleted as they look to build into this attack.
Yeah, I think looking for those exits, a good idea. He wasn't going to get anything done if he walked out. It would be the easiest spam of these players' lives. The fact that Zeus is able to take down Magnum, split these players up on the B side as well, and then continue to fire up in market. It recovered the round that was very much under threat. And it was great target selection as well. The fact they moved towards B, the players waiting for them there,